George Foreman Grill. To what extent has it changed your life?
Well, I'd really gotten popular on Madison Avenue. We'd done Doritos, McDonald's, and Meineke. Every commercial there was, we made a lot of money. People would pay you a lot of money to do a commercial. But then after a period of time, Kentucky Fried, they move on to someone else. And finally, a friend of mine said, George, you're making all these other companies wealthy. Why don't you get your own product? I said, sure, how much are you gonna pay me? I said, no. We're not gonna pay you. Get your own product. And we looked around and found this grill, not in this current form. And we formed a joint venture together.
And how did you go about even finding it, though?
I told them, they said, why don't you they said, let's look around for something. Sam Perlmutter and Henry Holmes, a few other guys. We started looking for a great product. And we found one. No one wanted to be bothered with it at all, this thing. You know, no, they had names for it, jokes for it. But I took it and they said, try that. And I didn't want to use it, but my wife insisted. She said, it works, George. And the grease really rolled off and it's still tender. I ate it. I said, boy, let's do it. We formed a joint venture, which means I'd have the lion's share, but I'd have to make it prominent. I'd have to go out and promote it. And I did without money. Nobody put up any money for me to do it. And that's how the joint venture came about. It was a guy by the name of Henry Holmes who comes up with a joint venture idea.
At what point did you know you were onto something?
I did the agreement. The thing worked so well, and I said, give me 16 of the grills. I'll give one to my mom, my aunt, my cousin, and put them into my training camps. And that's all I thought would happen because they worked so well. I never expected it to be so successful. I got a check once for like $1,500. I said, what? Couldn't believe it.
Really?
Then I got another check for $15,000. And then all of a sudden the checks just started rolling in. This thing sold over 100 million.
Right, and to give the check some context too, you end up being bought out, I think, for something like $140 million after what you had already made. Is it true? I mean, at one point, checks were coming in for upwards of like $4 million monthly?
$5 million.
$5 million monthly, but before the $140 million
yeah,
buyout.
Before. I'd fought my last boxing match in Atlantic City, and everyone said, "You were robbed. You were robbed, George." They were booing the fight, and there, my attorney had brought me a check for $1 million royalty on the grill. I said, that's not what we call being robbed. In my day, when you were robbed, you didn't have anything.
How did the money that you made from the grill, and it almost seems a stupid question to ask, but how did the money you made from the grill compare to what you made during your boxing career?
People ask me to compare the money I made in the grill and the money I made in the boxing, and you really can't because they're tied into one. Without boxing, I never could have had anything, nothing. I think I'm real thankful for being an athlete and have a chance to compete in sports, because without that, I never would have done anything.
How would you explain the importance of being a good salesperson?
And when I left boxing, I was so sad because I concentrated all those years, and I needed to make a living. But I'd go out on the street corners and I'd try to sell Jesus Christ. And most of the time, people were going somewhere and coming somewhere, and they didn't want to hear. And I said, I'm going to sell this product. And I learned to sing. I'd jump and dance on the street, and they would pay attention. I learned to sell, and I realized if I could sell myself to being the heavyweight champ of the world, I can sell anything if it's trustworthy. And that's what I'm most happy about, and I am a natural salesman. That's what I do. Salesperson galore, that's me.
No, I've actually always found something to be very true, which is most people don't get those experiences because they never ask. I've never found anybody that didn't want to help me if I asked them for help. I always call them up. I called up, this will date me, but I called up Bill Hewlett when I was 12 years old, and he lived in Palo Alto. His number was still in the phone book. And he answered the phone himself. He said, yes? He said, hi, I'm Steve Jobs. I'm 12 years old. I'm a student in high school, and I want to build a frequency counter. And I was wondering if you had any spare parts I could have. And he laughed, and he gave me the spare parts to build this frequency counter, and he gave me a job that summer in Hewlett-Packard, working on the assembly line, putting nuts and bolts together on frequency counters. He got me a job in the place that built them. And I was in heaven. And I've never found anyone who said no or hung up the phone when I called. I just asked. And when people ask me, I try to be as responsive, you know, to pay that debt of gratitude back. Most people never pick up the phone and call. Most people never ask. And that's what separates sometimes the people that do things from the people that just dream about them. You gotta act. And you've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to crash and burn, you know, with people on the phone, with starting a company, with whatever. If you're afraid of failing, you won't get very far.
I got in Amway when I was 21 years old. I'm going to tell you this story. My distributor was this guy named, my sponsor was a guy named John Walker. I lived in Cleveland. He lived in Rochester, New York. I got laid off from Ford Motor Company. I wasn't working, so I didn't have no reason to get up in the morning. Every single morning at 5:30 on the dot, my phone would ring. I pick up the phone. Hello. Steve, this is John Walker. How you doing, man? It's going to be a great day. How you feeling? Yeah, John, I'm asleep, man. Hey, man, it's going to be a great day. And he'd hang up. The next day at 5:30 in the morning, bring, hello. Steve, this is John Walker. How you doing, man? It's going to be a great day. How you doing today? John, I'm asleep, man. Hey, man, just want to tell you it's going to be a great day. Click. Next morning, bring, hello. Now, I'm mad now. You know, this been going on a couple weeks, and I kind of know who it is. He didn't change a damn thing. Steve, John Walker, how you doing, man? It's going to be a great day today. Man, I was so mad, man. I hang that phone up. 37 days in a row, he called me the exact same way because he was teaching me something. I didn't know it, and every single day I picked the phone up. Yeah. Steve, John Walker, man. Man. Yeah, John, yeah, it's going to be a great day. Click. And then one day, the 38th day, he told me how many days it was. He kept record. He picked up the phone. He said, I said, hello? He said, hey, Steve, it's John Walker. I said, yeah, man. He said, man, can I ask you something? I said, yeah, John. He said, why do you answer the phone like that in the morning? I said, what are you talking about? He said, every time I call you, I've called you 37 days in a row, and you keep answering the phone like something's wrong. I said, hey, man, I got laid off. I'm getting unemployment. You know, I ain't got to get up early, man. I said, what's up? He said, I'm really disappointed in you, man. He said, man, when you going to change your attitude? I said, ain't nothing wrong with my attitude. He said, yeah, it is. He said, when you wake up in the morning, man, you got a bad attitude, which pretty much explains why you've been having a lot of bad days. And he said, man, I hate that about you, man, because you're such a cool dude. You got so much potential. He said, man, I'm sorry to bother you. And he hung the phone up. Man, let me tell you something. That cut me so deep, man, because, you know, I don't like nobody thinking I'm something, but I'm acting like I ain't. That you don't even understand what they did to me. So the next morning, I thought about this all day. I said, man, this dude, he been playing me for 37 days. He been calling me. Next morning, I'm damn near sitting up in the bed. When this rang, this right here. Hello? Hey, Steve, it's John Walker. I said, hey, John, what's happening, man? What's going on with you, baby? I said, it's Steve Harvey, man. He said, Steve, how's it going? I said, man, I'm having a great day, man. I'm having a great day, John, man. You don't believe it, man. I got some great stuff going to be happening. He said, man, you my man. Click, and he hung up. And I wanted him to ask me what had happened, but he never did. Then one day he called me. He said, hey, man, you're going to be sheer greatness because you've learned how to wake up. 21 years later, 22, I got a gig in Chicago on the radio. You know what I was? The morning drive guy. You know what I've been doing since 1991? Every single morning, I'm in 112 cities. I talk to 9.5 million people every week. I have the #1 adult contemporary radio show in the world. I wake people up every morning, and I wake people up with the right attitude because my attitude changed. So God turned me into the morning man.
Since when I was young, I always learn, if you give, the God gonna give you the double. So this is what's happened in my life. Since I started to do that, everything in my life become better and better. So I will still carry on to do that because I think it's important and I feel good when I do that.